What if I told you this winning streak was one mistake away from collapsing? Al Nassr were under pressure, the record on the line, tension everywhere, and the dream of 10 straight wins was hanging by a thread. When chaos hit and doubts crept in, one moment, one decision changed everything. Was it luck or something far more powerful? Stay with me, because the turning point you're about to see explains why this team just refused to lose. We'll explain everything in this video step by step. Don't skip it. What a night, what a statement, what a double from the man who simply refuses to age. Al Nassr march on with their 10th straight victory, and guess who's at the heart of it all? Yes, number 7. Inevitable, unstoppable, unavoidable. This wasn't just another win, this was pressure football. Expectations sky high. Opponents desperate to be the ones who finally stop the streak. Al Nassr had moments of struggle, moments where the rhythm broke, moments where you could feel the tension creeping in, and then, boom, Ronaldo strikes. The first goal, pure predator instinct, right place, right time, zero mercy. The second, vintage drama, the kind of finish that makes defenders question their life choices and goalkeepers stare at the net in disbelief. 2 goals, one message: the king still runs the show. And let's be honest, this win didn't come easy. Al Nassr had to grind, battle and push through resistance. The midfield worked overtime, the defence held its breath, and when the moment demanded leadership, Ronaldo delivered like only he can. 10 wins in a row, let that sink in. A club record, a team on fire, a superstar leading from the front, not with words but with goals. Love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. When the pressure rises, when the spotlight burns brightest, Cristiano Ronaldo doesn't hide, he headlines. Al Nassr keep winning, records keep falling, and Ronaldo, he just keeps reminding the football world one simple truth. History doesn't retire. Ronaldo's brace was not just 2 goals on a score sheet, it was the engine that powered Al Nassr through one of their most demanding nights and into the history books with a record 10th consecutive victory. A run that now feels less like a streak and more like a statement of dominance. From the opening whistle, the weight of expectation sat heavy on Al Nassr's shoulders, because records invite pressure and pressure exposes cracks, and the opposition arrived knowing that if there was ever a night to stop the run, this was it. The early exchanges were tense, the tempo uneven, with Al Nassr searching for control while absorbing moments of resistance that tested their patience and belief. The crowd buzzed with nervous energy, sensing that this would not be a comfortable walk, but a battle that demanded a hero to step forward. That hero inevitably was Cristiano Ronaldo. The first goal came as a reminder of why he remains football's most ruthless problem solver. A split second of awareness, a sharp movement that left defenders frozen, and a finish that carried no hesitation and no mercy. It was the kind of goal that changes the emotional temperature of a match, lifting teammates, silencing doubts, and forcing opponents to chase shadows. Yet even with the lead, the match refused to settle. Al Nassr were pushed back at times, their defensive line stretched, their midfield forced into constant recovery runs, and the sense lingered that one mistake could undo everything they had built over 9 straight wins. As the minutes ticked on, the tension grew thicker, because winning streaks don't break quietly. They shatter in moments of chaos, and the opposition pressed harder, throwing numbers forward, daring Al Nassr to blink. It was in this atmosphere of rising anxiety that Ronaldo struck again, delivering a second goal that felt like a thunderclap. This wasn't just skill, it was authority, the calm execution of a player who thrives when the noise gets loudest. Defenders scrambled, the goalkeeper reacted too late, and suddenly the stadium erupted, knowing they were witnessing another chapter in a run that refuses to slow down. That brace didn't just secure 3 points, it carried symbolic weight. 10 consecutive wins now stand as a club record, a benchmark that speaks of consistency, mental toughness, and a refusal to collapse under pressure. For Al Nassr, this victory was proof that their momentum is built on more than form. It's built on resilience, adaptability, and a leader who demands standards every time he steps onto the pitch. Ronaldo's goals were the headline, but behind them lay the grind, the discipline, and the collective effort required to keep the streak alive, a reminder that records are forged not only in moments of brilliance, but in the willingness to suffer, to fight, and to respond when the challenge rises. With Ronaldo once again at the centre of it all, driving Al Nassr forward, carrying belief on his shoulders and turning pressure into fuel. As the streak stretches further, the expectations climb higher, and the chase for history continues, with no sign of slowing, no sign of doubt, only the relentless march powered by goals, belief, and a superstar who keeps delivering when it matters most. As the crowd roars, the opponents fade, and the run grows stronger, louder, and more impossible to ignore, driven by a brace that means far more than just 2 goals, but a defining moment in a season built on momentum, ambition, and the refusal to stop winning, even when the pressure screams otherwise, and the football world watches closely, waiting for the next test, the next challenge, the next moment where Ronaldo steps forward again to decide everything, under the lights, in the heat, with history on the line, still running, still scoring, still leading, still pushing Al Nassr deeper into record territory, game after game, minute after minute, without looking back. The match unfolded under a cloud of pressure and uncertainty, the kind that hangs heavy in the air when momentum meets resistance, and every touch of the ball feels like it could tilt the story in either direction. From the first few minutes, it was clear this would not be a smooth, flowing contest, but a tense chess match filled with sharp challenges, rushed passes, and moments where control slipped away just as quickly as it was gained. Al Nassr tried to impose their rhythm early, moving the ball with intent, but the opposition refused to sit back, pressing aggressively and disrupting the build-up, forcing hurried decisions and exposing small cracks that threatened to widen with every lost duel. As the tempo fluctuated, the tension inside the stadium became almost tangible, with each misplaced pass drawing groans and every interception sparking hope for the opposing side. The midfield became a battleground where space was scarce and time even scarcer, players colliding in relentless exchanges that drained energy and tested concentration. Al Nassr found themselves under spells of sustained pressure, pinned in their own half, scrambling to clear lines and reset their shape, while the opposition sensed vulnerability and pushed numbers forward, searching for that one decisive moment that could flip the entire narrative of the night. Turning points arrived suddenly and without warning, as they often do in high-pressure football. A last-ditch tackle, a block shot, a clearance off balance, each moment carrying the weight of potential disaster or salvation. The crowd's reactions are O's and fell in waves, mirroring the emotional swings on the pitch, because in matches like this, dominance is never permanent and control is always borrowed. Every transition felt dangerous, every counter-attack carried the possibility of chaos, and both teams played with the awareness that one lapse in focus could undo everything built over 90 exhausting minutes. The drama deepened as fatigue began to creep in, slowing reactions and sharpening nerves. Players who had started confidently now hesitated for a split second longer, and that hesitation was enough to invite pressure. Al Nassr's backline was tested repeatedly, forced into uncomfortable positions, while the goalkeeper stood alert, ready to respond to shots that came through crowded bodies and unexpected angles. At the other end, attacking moves broke down at the final pass, adding to the sense of frustration and feeding the tension that refused to dissipate. What made the contest gripping was not just the quality on display, but the constant feeling that the balance could shift at any moment. The opposition played with belief, refusing to accept the narrative of inevitability, while Nassr had to dig deep into their mental reserves, drawing on discipline and collective focus to weather the storm. Each whistle, each stoppage offered brief relief, but also reset the pressure, because the stakes were always present, hovering over every duel and decision. As the clock continued to move, the match became a test of nerves as much as skill, with players battling not only their opponents, but the expectations pressing down on them. The struggle was relentless, the resistance unyielding, and the turning points arrived in flashes rather than flows, shaping a contest defined by drama, intensity, and the thin margins that separate triumph from collapse, leaving everyone watching on edge, fully aware that this war kind of night where football reveals its cruelest and most thrilling side, where momentum is fragile, confidence is tested, and the story can change in an instant, driven by pressure, emotion, and the unforgiving nature of the game itself. Al Nassr's resilience became the defining theme of the night, revealing itself not in moments of comfort, but in the stretches where everything felt like it was slipping away. This was not a performance built on constant control or effortless dominance, but one shaped by the ability to absorb pressure, reset mentally, and respond with determination when the situation demanded it. From early on, the team faced disruptions to their rhythm, passes that didn't quite connect, movements that arrived a fraction too late, and an opposition eager to capitalise on every sign of uncertainty. Instead of panicking, Al Nassr tightened their structure, communicated constantly, and committed to doing the hard work that often goes unnoticed but makes the difference in high-stakes matches. The midfield embodied this resilience, tracking back relentlessly, closing passing lanes and contesting second balls with a level of urgency that spoke to their collective mindset. When possession was lost, Recovery runs were immediate, players sacrificing attacking positions to ensure defensive balance, understanding that protecting the team came before individual expression. There were moments when the pressure mounted to uncomfortable levels, when the opposition surged forward with confidence and the stadium seemed to hold its breath. But Al Nassr stood firm, relying on organisation and discipline to withstand the storm. At the back, resilience took on a physical form, with defenders throwing themselves into challenges, blocking shots and clearing danger under intense scrutiny. Every interception felt like a small victory, every clearance a temporary rel. Ease of tension as the team battled not only the opponents but the psychological weight of expectation. Mistakes were met with immediate recovery rather than hesitation, teammates stepping into cover, encouraging each other and maintaining focus even as fatigue began to creep into their legs and minds. Resilience also showed in the way Al Nassr responded after setbacks within the match, whether it was a missed chance, a refereeing decision that didn't go their way, or a sudden shift in momentum. Instead of allowing frustration to spiral, they regrouped quickly, slowing the game when needed, keeping possession in safer areas, and waiting patiently for opportunities to reassert themselves. This emotional control prevented the opposition from feeding off chaos and allowed Al Nassr to remain composed during the most volatile phases of the contest. As the minutes passed, the collective effort became more visible, with players pushing beyond their comfort zones, covering extra ground, and maintaining intensity despite the physical toll. Subtle details reflected this mindset: a forward tracking back to make a crucial tackle, a midfielder sprinting to close down a counter-attack, a defender stepping out at the perfect moment to break an attacking move. These actions, though less glamorous than goals, formed the backbone of the performance and ensured that the team remained competitive, even when under sustained pressure. This resilience was not accidental but cultivated, built through shared experiences, previous challenges, and the understanding that winning streaks survive only when teams can suffer together. Al Nassr showed that their strength lies not just in attacking talent but in their capacity to endure adversity, to remain united when tested, and to trust the collective plan when individual moments falter, creating a foundation that supports success even in the demanding conditions, reinforcing belief, strengthening identity, and proving that resilience is not merely about surviving difficult moments, but about using them to forge a stronger, more determined team that continues to move forward under pressure, absorbing challenges, responding with grit, and refusing to bend when the game demands everything from them. Cristiano Ronaldo's leadership emerged as the decisive force when the match demanded clarity, confidence, and direction, turning a tense contest into a defining moment of control through presence as much as performance. From the opening minutes, his influence extended beyond touches on the ball, visible in his movement, his positioning, and the way he constantly communicated with teammates, pointing, urging, and organising, ensuring that standards never dropped even during uncertain phases. In a game filled with pressure and resistance, leadership became about maintaining belief, and Ronaldo embodied that responsibility with an intensity that set the tone for everyone around him. When the team struggled to find rhythm, Ronaldo became the reference point, offering himself as an outlet, drawing defenders and creating space simply through his reputation and awareness. Opponents were forced to adjust their shape to track him, opening channels for others, while his calm demeanour and possession helped settle the team during moments when nerves threatened to take over. Leadership in such situations is often subtle, expressed through timing, decision-making, and the refusal to rush. And Ronaldo demonstrated this by choosing moments carefully, knowing when to accelerate the game and when to slow it down. As the pressure increased, his response was not frustration but focus. Missed chances and physical challenges were met with immediate reset, eyes forward, demanding the next ball, reinforcing the message that hesitate had no place on the pitch. Younger players looked to him instinctively, drawing confidence from his composure and experience, understanding that if he believed the situation was under control, then it truly was. This psychological impact cannot be measured in statistics, yet it shapes outcomes in decisive ways, especially in matches where momentum shifts constantly. Ronaldo's leadership also revealed itself in his work rate and commitment, tracking back when necessary, pressing defenders and setting an example that effort is non-negotiable regardless of status or legacy. These actions reinforced accountability across the squad, eliminating excuses and elevating collective intensity. When key moments arrived, he did not shy away from responsibility, positioning himself where the game could be decided, embracing the pressure that others might avoid and converting that pressure into decisive action in the closing stages. As fatigue spread and concentration wavered, Ronaldo's presence continued to anchor the team. He managed the tempo intelligently, holding the ball under pressure, winning fouls and allowing teammates to reset and regain structure. His gestures and instructions helped maintain shape and focus, ensuring that the final minutes were navigated with control rather than chaos. Leadership in these moments is about protecting the result, reading the game and guiding others through uncertainty, and Ronaldo executed this with the authority of someone who has lived through countless high-stakes battles. This performance reinforced why decisive leadership matters most when margins are thin and expectations heavy. Ronaldo's influence extended far beyond goals, shaping mentality, confidence, and collective belief, reminding everyone that leadership is not a speech or a title, but a constant presence, a willingness to take responsibility, and the ability to lift others when pressure threatens to overwhelm, defining the match not just through moments of brilliance, but through sustained guidance, composure, and the relentless drive to win when it matters most. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like and subscribe.